What's up, everybody? Good morning. I hope you're all having a phenomenal day out there in the world, despite the crazy bullshit of what is happening. So, today's spell of the day, because we're wrapping up this week, I'm going to apply the herbal blend from yesterday. So that was the white pine, that was the Demiana and the dragon's blood, right? To get the stimulation of the flow going and to stay the course along that flow. And we're actually going to incorporate this into a little bit of runic magic and to a little bit of creating a bind rune totem, right? So we're going to be using Love is in the Earth, and we're going to be using Runin, the Wisdom of the Runes. So this one's by A.D. Mercer, so Andy Mercer. This one is by Melody, which is fantastic. Good morning, Mike. How are you doing, buddy? So the stone that I'm going to apply to this spell blend today is going to be Morganite. And now we're incorporating a stone because this one particularly is a type of beryl, and it crystallizes in the form of masses and prismatic crystals, sometimes vertically striated and sometimes terminated by small pyramid-like faces. The colors range from pink to rose. This one's a pink one. This mineral is an activator, cleanser, and stimulator for the heart chakra. It helps to bring love into one's life and assists one in maintaining that love as it continues to grow. It also helps one to realize the equality in relationship between the sexes and between the races. It brings the actualization of gain to one's life, gain and supplementation of that which is required to cultivate the spirit and to allow one to consciously align the personality with the ethereal soul. It stimulates the transmittal of impersonal wisdom from one's guides and further one's accountability for one's personal reality. So what does this mean? This means like this is the thing that's going to assist in making things go deeper, right? And so with the spell blend and the protection and calling upon divine strength, this is the mineral application of what is those herbal ingredients. I'm doing all right today, Mike. Thank you very much. It stimulates creativity and issues of self-control, assisting one to act from love and to bring in the beautiful jewel of wisdom and a reverence for life. Morganite is a powerful stone in a massive form for ceremonies around the medicine wheel. It provides the experience of the brotherhood and facilitates both speaking and listening to one's heart. It was a stone used to tell stories during the early days of cultivation, and it contains accessible memories relevant to both the history of its use and the experiences it has seen. So if this is a stone that has seen quite a lot and used to tell the stories, then the divine stories that we talked about the other day and that I keep railing on about, how if you use the Orphic hymns or if you recreate the stories of the gods, you invite them into the moment. You invite them into that application of it. So what you get to do and how you get to do it is in alignment to the application. So the energy of Morganite also provides access to information concerning the environmental structure of other worlds, helping one to understand and to implement the aspects of love and to heal and to maintain the earth, right? So this is a stone of binding between the different worlds. And so this is why we're using it, right? Is because we're going to be using it to unite the different worlds, specifically for protection, right? And the protection of traveling through those. So a spell blend like this is going to be useful for totemic alignment to the different projections you can do into the different planes. So having stuff like this on hand is quite helpful. The bind rune that we're going to be making today is going to be a unification of R, Sig, and Tyr, right? R is the primal fire that destroys the darkness, dispelling the darkness with the power of the sun and the fire thereof. It is the vertical line with a line coming down off its backside, right, to give it a foundation. Air is also the sun, the human child reborn out of darkness and into the light, right? Sig is the power and the glory of the solar radiance of victory and salvation, and it is the promise of victory and the symbol of success, and that's the upward pointing arrow, right? And sorry, that's the S. Tyr is the upward pointing arrow, and it is bringing forth this recognition as it exemplifies the nature of self-sacrifice as the means to obtain higher understanding, right? And so the combination of these creates a bind rune that includes the power of the sun as both the primal fire of creation and the sustaining power of the solar radiance that brings that forth. And these two forces give the energy required to bring forth the renewal of the self and the raising of the state to a higher state of consciousness. This binder can also be used to give supreme protection, as it is always self-renewing and filled with an abundance of energy. So that's why, is because this is a protective talisman. This is to stay the course. This is to keep things from going pear-shaped when you're doing things out in the world. So having a totem like this in your pocket or around your neck or what have you can help protect you and those that you're working with from the weirdery and the bullshit, right? And so we're going to take the blend from yesterday. Let's see if I can get this without messing up my books, right? And of course, I lost the page that was on, and now my hands are covered in herbs. So your books, when it comes to using spell books and what have you, are like, while they are quite useful and quite rare in some cases, at the same time, they are also for practical use. So all of my books are like, you know, the unfortunate victims of sideways applications of spells. So I'm going to be using the teaspoon scoop measure in order to be able to do this. So we're going to do the line. The sig. And the tier. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad. So let's see if I can get the camera doing this. So real quick, while it's silly AI camera wants to stay in one level spot. So if you can see, that is the rune that we are doing today. So make that with the marking of the herbal ingredient blend and such. Now, on top of this, right, what would activate this binder in? Right, it's not enough that we have just the symbol made on a piece of cloth. You know, we'll put the morganite on there. We'll do 5 pieces. Right. And then we're going to be adding the Damiana into it, right? This was used in the powder to create the blend that's already on here. And the application of that is specifically for manifesting desires, right? With the dragon's blood and all of that. So this is to make the desires manifest, to protect, to connect with the forces, right? Blessed thistle that we'll use. This one is vitality and banishes dangerous people and situations, and it also acts as a spell breaker. So if people are trying to fuck with your cookies while you're projecting into the planes or trying to access the ancestral memory, this will help break down the links that are not useful for you, right? And then we're going to add in a little bit of the moon warp. I don't have too many of these things left, but the piece that's got the seeds inside, right? And so with this, it's a monster repellent, right? And so this prevents the attacks against the circle, the attacks against your space. And so if you're out in the field and you pull one of these together, then you have talisman, the energy, the application of these things. You have everything united in both form, in historical applications. You have things that are being developed in real time, right? So this spell is specifically for the use of magic directly on a purpose, right? And so we've created the Spelladay blend from yesterday. We're incorporating it with the spells of today, which again, the Blessed Thistle, the Damiana, and the Moonwort, right? To prevent monsters from attacking you, from breaking negative energy cycles that you're going to find yourself in, and also protecting you, the bearer of this. And so you take each of the corners and you roll it up and you hold this up. And so you're going to have 5 little triangular points. So those will come up to the circle. Right? And so these ones you hold and do. And so you bring it together into a little pouch, like so, right? And then you use your twine. Again, you want to use natural materials for this. You've noticed there's no plastic, there's no, oh God, what's the word? Artificial material. It's all metal, mineral, or stone. I don't have metals imbued in this. Cool. Mail's here. And so we do this, and we bond this. And then we finish it off with a knot. You blow into the knot, and it is finished. And so a little thing like this, you can keep this in your car, you could keep this with you, you could keep this for your ritual purposes. But in 12 minutes, we've made a protective talisman that is a self-fulfilling, self-renewing protective amulet, right? So while it might not be the flashiest spell jar in the marketplace, something like this will still pack a punch. And then so we did 2 knots, we do 3 knots. Blowing in that for the vital breaths. 4 knots. 5. 6. And 7 for the life. Right. And now you'll say, well, how do you bring it to life? How do you animate it? Well, that's simple. There's a spell in the Grimoire of Arts that causes animation. So this, spoken aloud, given life, will act as the foundation for creating protection. So like I said, so if you're going to be out in the field and you need to make sure that you've got one of these little fuckers in your pocket to bounce off negative energies. Like if you think you're going to go into a place where you don't necessarily want to be, but you want to make sure that you've got the foundation protections, right? This simple stuff like this works out really good. So you mix the Spell of the Day blend, you make your bind rune, you add to it the mineral, in this case Morganite, and then you add into it the Damiana for the manifestation, the Blessed Thistle for the protection, and the Moonwort for the monster repellent while you are seeking that protection, right? And so a little baggie like this works great to keep things off. So practical application for your spell of the day, right? Where is it useful? How is it going to be applied? We have an example of that right there. So stay safe, my friends. Remember, don't be evil. This is a great way to do counter spells and such like that too, because if you carry one of these on you, thanks to the principles of the Blessed Thistle, it acts as a counter spell itself. So it bounces that negative energy and shit right back off of you, right? It'll leave it in the environment. It doesn't clean the environment out. You'll still have to do work to do that. It doesn't keep the monsters away for good. You'll have to do something about that. And it won't protect you if you forget to take it with you. Okay? Just remember that. How do you get it to protect you outside of itself? Well, once you do the spell of animation, if you put a drop of your blood on it, then it links to you, and then it becomes your personal phylactery, right? It goes from just a talisman into something that's specifically designed to protect you. And so you could put this on a necklace and wear this out in a job, right? Or in a ritual circle or in a protective space. So you have those different applications. So with that, my friends, I will see you in a little while for the workshop. There is no right in the afternoon today. And tomorrow begins our final week of the Spelladay Challenge. So stay with me, and I will see you in the workshop. Stay safe for now, y'all.